Welcome to this presentation on drafting and design, with a focus on using AutoCAD. Originally created for an AutoCAD crash course, it also includes insights from our guest lecturer, Ting Lee, a landscape architect and expert AutoCAD user. Today we'll cover the basics of AutoCAD, construction terminology, and the process of designing an accessory dwelling unit, or ADU, essentially a tiny house. The agenda is first learning the program of space, then the California Residential Code requirements for an ADU, and lastly, AutoCAD drafting tips. Let's start with installing AutoCAD. You can download AutoCAD for both Mac and PC through the Autodesk website. If you're a student, you can get it for free with a student account. Google Autodesk Student, follow the instructions, and access their full suite of products. Now, how do we design a house? The first step to consider is the purpose of the space, its program. For an ADU, we focus on room placement and size, keeping functionality in mind. Here's a sample ADU design that includes all the essential components: a bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchen, and other necessities like an electrical panel and water heater. In our example, called the bucket hat house, we start with a program diagram. This rough outline uses circles to represent different spaces. Imagine walking through these spaces and how they'll function in real life. Residential code requirements. Once you have a design, the next step is to review building codes, starting with egress. Egress refers to how occupants can safely exit the building through emergencies like fires. This is a critical aspect of fire life safety. Other key code requirements include foundation and footings. These are the base structures that support the house, like spread footings or T-footings. Load path. These show how forces travel from the roof, through the walls, and into the foundation. This applies to both gravity and lateral loads like earthquakes or wind. Lastly, stormwater drainage. Proper grading ensures water flows away from the home. For ADUs, slab-on-grade foundations are common, as they're simple and cost-effective. AutoCAD drafting tips. Now let's dive into drafting your design in AutoCAD. 1. Model space. Begin drafting the building to scale. 2. Add annotations like multiliters and dimensions. These notes indicate measurements like wall lengths and heights. 3. Paper space. Insert viewports to create your final PDF output. Some basic AutoCAD drafting tools include text, scale, line weight and line types, polylines, offsets, snaps, and eventually plotting it. Our guest lecturer, Ting Lee, has a bachelor's in landscape architecture from UC Davis and a master's from the University of Georgia. Ting provided examples of AutoCAD use in landscape design, showcasing commands and techniques like text alignment, scale, and viewport placement. Some basic AutoCAD drafting basics. Make sure that you're drafting to scale, and make sure that you use commands to help with the process. Text alignment. This tool keeps notes neat and organized by aligning it to a line on the left. Scale. Scale determines how your drawing fits onto the paper. For example, 1 inch might represent 10 or 20 feet. This is shown when you plot your drawing in Paperspace. Title block setup. Found in Paperspace, these include essential information like the project name, sheet number, and address. Your sheet setup includes things like the main site plan, floor plan, scales, and project information. Line weights. Line weights indicate the hierarchy of elements like walls or boundaries. Polylines and splines. You can use polylines to create curved or continuous lines instead of straight lines. Offset. Offset. This command will offset the element that you choose by a certain distance. Snap. Use the snap tool for connecting lines. Text versus mtext. Mtext creates multiple lines. Text makes a single line. Dimension styles. Dimension styles are used for customizing dimensioning. Trim. Use this tool for cutting lines. Plot settings. Plot settings determine the paper size, the line type styles, and the scale. Use these settings to ensure your layout is plotted based on the paper size and your plot styles. The following are examples of Ting's projects. To recap, we discussed the basics of designing an ADU, reviewed essential residential code requirements, and explored key AutoCAD tips for drafting and exporting your design.